Yeah, what's up, kings and queens? We're back again, and as usual, we're going to the mirror case to see what sense can we make out of it. Now, today, I'm not going to be so much into the analysis and stuff, but I'm just going to point out a few things, right? Just what I picked out, what felt important for me today from today's proceedings, right? Now, before we do that, like subscribe, like, comment, hit that notification bell so that when we drop more content like this, you are in the loop. Now, this is amazing, right? This senior detective decides, no, for me to say this case is this is the case, right? For me to start taking action and start arresting people and stuff like that, all I need is triple hearsay evidence from Zungu's father who heard from Mbegezeni Ntanzi, and then Ntanzi who said he heard from another Ntanzi, right? This is what's happening. So this is the evidence that decided Gininda and Baloyi, senior advocate, decided, no, we're going to use this. This is valuable information. And then we can run with it. Now, listen to how Baloyi tried to explains it out. He tried to squeeze his way out of it, right? Try to make it into what it's not. He tells us Mr. Mgomezulu he brought up that hearsay. So they made that bet, they must lie in it. That was his phrase, right? Now, you have to now ask yourself, if Gininda keeps saying, we heard from Zungu's father that there was some what, and then we started to work on these guys because we felt that, okay, since there's somebody who heard about this, let's see what else can we find out in this guy, so that then we decided to pick out other cases from them, the drug dealers and all that. That's what he was talking about, right? But it doesn't make sense when he now has to explain the trail, like the he used this term. It's a trail of hearsay, right? When he now has to explain this trail of hearsay, it becomes a problem, because what is he going to say? He didn't bring Zungu's father to come and testify, he and Baloyi. He didn't bring that Mbengezeni Ntanzi who told Zungu's father, and again, he didn't bring that Zungu who told Mbengezeni Zungu. So like Mbengezeni Ntanzi. So it's he didn't bring that Ntanzi again. So it's just a line of people telling other people's stories, and then he picked it up and ran with it. Now, there's a clip that I'm going to share with you, where he's trying to pull himself out of this web that Mnisi was pulling him in, because Mnisi just laid that trap for him, and then he was just waiting for him to walk in it, just to explain the 375 docket. When he has to explain why this docket is there, he tried to, like, he used his, I don't know what I can term it, his jackal way, his crooked ways, try to run out of it. He says, no, this happened because this docket was not even important, because what was important was the docket of 636, because this is the docket that was investigating. This is the only docket that was investigating the death of Mayo. But the other docket, it was not in conjunction with the death of Mayo, because it was not even open in the year that the event took place, right? But he comes short of telling us, I'm the suspect there in that case. he just tells us the people in the house were suspected of also being a part of the commission of the crime. But he stops short of telling us, no, I was also a suspect of doing certain deeds that are considered taboo, breaking the law, basically, by allegedly what was said by other people throughout the course of this trial when they said he stole a certain statement from that docket, which made them to finally open 636, in fact 375. Now, he doesn't even answer fully and satisfactorily when he's asked, was there a docket concurrently running that was being investigated when this docket, when you were going to present this information to the DPA? He says, yes, there was, but it was not a murder case, like a murder charge, and it was not the murder docket. It was just a docket of defeating the ends. That's it. But it doesn't go into detail because the detail will kill him. But anyway, we're going to see in the coming days what's going to happen when it comes to him explaining how he broke ties with these people. I advocate, in fact, Warrant Officer Makubu and Lieutenant Colonel Butelis. Lieutenant Colonel Butelis, right? He has to explain how he broke ties with them because he's just now he's telling us now, oh, it's because these people, Brigadier Perumal, felt that these people were like disrespectful or in some way. I don't know how, but he can't really explain how disrespectful were they, how were they bending the rank and stuff like that. How he can't explain it, but he's just trying to bad name them. But anyway, let's not go too much into detail. Just listen to yourself how he tries to swindle his way out of this trap that Munisi had set him. What is going to be interesting is when the defense now brings their witnesses, because this guy, we are tired of listening to this guy's lies. We are really tired. We just need to hear some other versions. We need to hear some refreshing versions of policemen who are really up to the task, not those who are just trying to cover up and do stupid things. Because even when he has to explain the charges that he brought up, it's a problem. When he has to explain the witnesses that he relied, the statements, the witness that he relied on the statements, those people that he relied on the statement, he has to explain how he got that information. We found out that it's hearsay, triple hearsay. Like, this is the third person information. This is what happens. Anyway, guys, let me not take too much of your time. Please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when we get more content like this, you are covered. Now, I'm kind of greasy, rusty, but we're getting back into action. Peace.
So, in summary, he was not happy with.
Just rest assured, this is not an indictment on anyone. I just want to know the background, you understand? Thank you. Now, it seems to me that already on this stage, there was another case docket that was being investigated parallel to the one that you are also investigating also.
Athi-ke manje kuyena-ke ummeli kutshaka ukuthi ngalo leli langa leli kade khona-ke enye idocument kade nisenza-ke ukusesha noma kade niphenya mayelana nayo kuhambisana futhi necala leli noma nedocument leli kade unalo kuwena akusinjalo?
Yes, it is so, my lord, but it is also prudent to mention that yes, the matter that relates to the death of Senzo Meyiwa, it's only the matter that is before court. The matter that was investigated by the two members relates to the docket that was opened somewhere in January in 2019. there is no assertion that the deceased was killed on that date. He was killed on the 26th of October, 2016. And that docket relates to defeating charges insofar as I can recall, insofar as the charges. But yes, there was, to answer the advocate, there was a docket that was said to be investigated by the two members parallel to this one, my lord.
Athi yebo, kepha kukhumbule khona njalo ukuthi mayelana necala leli esingalo phambi kokusenkantolo yilona kade bephenya lona ke yena ufakazi, kepha ke abezesiphoyisa laba ababili ke bona kade bephenya ke icala leli la ngo-2019 la ka-375 lapho khona ke kade bethwesa noma kade bephenya icala lokugwema ukusebenza kwendlela yezomthetho.
You know, Brigadier, when I'm telling myself that I'm working with you, then you're leaving me in the lurch. Now, you saying there's no other docket that was investigated in relation to the death of Senzo Moyiwa except the one that you were investigating. Now, the question that immediately comes to my mind is, what was the context or the content within which this other case docket that was investigated by, or that you saw at the office of the DPP on that day? Within what context was it being investigated? Was it not in relation to the death of Senzo Moyiwa as well?
Manje kuyakuza ukuthi malana idocket leli lesibili ke walibona lapho kumahhovisi abashushisa abakhulu ke DPP ngesikhathi kade uneqembu leli abashushisa abakhona phambi kokusenkantolo futhi nethimba lakho leziphoyisa ke, ngabe idocket lelo kade lingekho ngokuthi kuphenywe mayelana nokushona kwakaSenzo Moyiwa?
No, my lord. So what I'm saying is,
Yes.
the matter, and I'm talking now the facts, factual facts. What you have, the crime scene that relates to the death of Senzo Moyiwa occurred on the 26th of October 2014. There is no other scene other than that scene. So that is the basis of why we are before court, my lord.
Athi lapho cha akusinjalo ke ngoba uSenzo Moyiwa washona ngelanga la nge-26 ngenyanga October ngomnyaka 2014 futhi yona ke isona ke sathu sileso esenza ukuthi sibe lapha phambi kokusenkantolo njengamanje.
Now, relating to this docket 375, my lord, that was opened in January 2019. What I do know, because I've then since had an opportunity to look at it, my lord, it relates to allegations that the witnesses or the people who were inside the house lied when they said they were intruders. So it seems to suggest that there were no intruders and the deceased was killed by one of the people who was inside the house. That's what it seems to suggest. But the charge there is one of defeating and not murder. And that is why I'm saying the murder docket, and I'm speaking to murder in terms of its definition. The person that was killed is Senzo Robert Moyiwa, and the date of the incident is 26 October 2014, not 2019. That is why I'm saying in 2019, a defeating docket was opened for the witnesses who are the people who are inside the house in this matter, my lord.
Athi lapho ke asikhumbule into yodwa ukuthi idocket leli esingalo noma esikulona njengamanje la phambi kokusenkantolo ke idocket lecala lenzeka ngelanga la nge-26 ngenyanga October ngomnyaka 2014 la kwabulawa khona ke uSenzo Robert Moyiwa, bese uyabuya futhi ukukhuluma nodaba lwedocket lesibili ke ukuthi idocket lesibili lavula lona ke ngenyanga kaJanuary ngomnyaka 2019 la kade bethi khona ke kade besola khona ke mhlawumbe benensolo khona ke ukuthi ke abantu bonkala kade bekhona ngaphakathi kulomuzi kade kade beqambe amanga bengakhulumile iqiniso futhi kade begwema ukusebenza kwengalo yomthetho mayana ukukhuluma iqiniso la ukuthi ngabe kahlahle yini eyenzeka ngelanga leli la nge-14 nge-26 October ngomnyaka 2014.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, as I understand you, is that the if I were to call it that way, the reason for the cracks to happen in the investigating team is because some members of the investigating team held the view that at the same scene, on the same date, which is the 26th of October 2014, there were no intruders. The death of Senzo Moyiwa was caused by a person that was in the, or by one of the people that was in the house. Whilst the other view that was held by the other section of the investigating team is that on the same scene, on the same date, there were intruders. Do I or should I understand the whole context of the existence of these two dockets in that fashion?
Athi-ke ummeli manje uthanda ukuthi abuze-ke ekuthizeni mhlawumbe azwisise-ke lamadokethi amabili-ke ngendlela-ke ukuthi kade angafani-ke kuwukuthi mhlawumbe ithimba leli noma into eyakhokhela mhlawumbe into eyadala ukuthi kube neqhephuka phakathi kwithimba lenu njengabaseshi bamaphoyisa-ke kuwukuthi amanye amaphoyisa kade-ke bona-ke bethi lapho-ke akukho umuntu owangena noma mhlawumbe igebengu ezangena ngaphakathi kulo muzi kulela khaya lelia bese zadubula-ke umufi kepha-ke bathi bona-ke umuntu owadubula-ke umufi ngabe kade kuwumunye wabantu ade bekhona-ke ngaphakathi kula muzi loyana-ke kepha kolunye uhlangothi-ke ithimba leziphoyisa bathi bona-ke nomthimba labaseshi lithi khona-ke lapho-ke my apologies, my lord, I couldn't get the whole.
The other section
Yes.
of the investigating team
Yes.
holds or held the view that they were indeed intruders.
Lapho-ke, thank you, counsel. Lapho khona-ke elinye ithimba labaseshi becala bathi khona-ke bona-ke basothi kade khona-ke abantu nomhlawumbe igebengu ezazingenela kuloya muzi.
So, my lord, I'll answer it this way. Yes, I agree there were two, there's this docket 375, but I wouldn't attribute the separation to this view or this different understanding of what really happened. Okay.
Athi yebo khona-ke kungaba njalo kepha ngeke ahambisane nenkulumo yakho ngokugcwele ukuthi wena-ke mhlawumbe kade khona kungaboni mhlawumbe ukubona-ke ngendlela ezimbili phakathi kwalecala.
And I'm saying that with greatest respect, my lord. I think it boils down to discipline, in my view, because even if you differ with your superior, I've not seen a situation when you differ with your superior and then you'll take things and go to, I don't know to what office. There's a protocol, there are measures in place, and the directive that was given to us, me as the leading investigating officer, these members was that I'm the leading investigating officer, the team that is supposed to guide us in this investigation was one team that we ended up with, and that is the one with Advocate Baloyi was part of. At no stage did this prosecutorial team said we must be separated. We were there. All that needed to be done was to present the evidence, and then we get guidance from the NPA based on the evidence, not opinion of what I think, based on the evidence that we've collected, and then they make a decision, and then you take the matter forward if there is evidence to take it forward, my lord.
Athi cha lapho-ke akusinjalo-ke uma angayibika ngale ndlela lelandelayo ukuthi kukuthi khona lapho kade khona kungayiphathi kahle-ke phakathi kwethimba lakhe lezesiphoyisa leli kade besesha icala leli ngoba khona-ke khona-ke umgwaqo noma mhlawumbe umthetho kumele ukuthi bawulandele lapho uma ngabe besebenza khona-ke lapho-ke akusukuthi mhlawumbe omncane iphoyisa elincane kwamele liphikisane nephoyisa elikhulu kulona-ke futhi uthina-ke imbangela yalokho kukuthi amaphoyisa la ithimba lakhe kade ngayiphethe kahle ngoba kade kuye-ke kade ahola-ke ithimba lakhe labaseshi becala leli-ke futhi asho khona ukuthi kuyisizathu leso esenza ukuthi bahambe baye kumahhovisi abashushisi abakhulu-ke futhi ekuthizeni bathole-ke indlela yokusebenza ukuthi bangasebenza kanjani mhlawumbe izeluleko zokuthi bangasebenza kanjani eziqhamuka kwithimba labeshushisi.
And my lord, in addition to that, I've indicated previously right at the inception, rather after we appointed, and after I've made copies to all different members, to say, what is it that informed me at that stage? Because that part was important to look as to whether they were intruders or no intruders. And I've allowed this exercise to all the members to say, let's go and read the docket separately and come together to address the issue of whether do we think the evidence contained in the docket indicates that there were no intruders or there were intruders. Because after we've answered that answer, my lord, of giving an answer to that question, then the next thing will be the direction of the investigation, whether we are pursuing the people who are inside the house or we are looking for the intruders. Now, I've also testified, my lord, that after reading the docket, and I've given numerous reasons of things that I found, I could find no basis that there were no intruders. But contrary to that, there were intruders, my lord. I found it in terms of objective evidence, and I found it in terms of Mr. Ngashe, the senior, the warrant officer, who says in his statement he blew a whistle and one of his sons were chasing the perpetrators. They chased them to the park and came back. That evidence was there. Now, on what basis can I ignore this? And I'm simply giving the background to say why was this view and why I didn't agree with this view. So my view is that you investigate, my lord, with greatest respect. You present the evidence to the NPA, which was available to us. And if the NPA had said to us, no, there were no intruders indeed, we're going with 375, that would have been the position that I would have had to respect, if I think it's correct, of course.
Athi lapho-ke ngemuva kokuthi-ke atholeke idokhethi leli wahlala phansi nethimba lakhe. Ngesikhathi bekahlala phansi nethimba lakhe bese wabanikeza amakhophi ukuthi nabo bahambe bofunda-ke bese babuye futhi ade benombuzo ukuthi ngabe lapho kade kwangena igilamkhuba noma kaze kungena igilamkhuba ngesikhathi ade bebuka-ke idokhethi leli bese wade wabaceda bahambe bofunda-ke idokhethi leli-ke bese babuye bakhulume malana nalokhu bona abakuzwisisayo malana ngemuva kokufunda idokhethi leli. Kepha uyasho khona njalo umakhuluma kufakazi bakuthi kulapho khona futhi ngesikhathi bahlangana nabashushisi abekhulu-ke bethimba labeshushisi abafunda khona-ke nedokhethi leli abanalo njengamanje-ke lapho-ke ngoba khona-ke umnumzana uNxashe la wakhuluma khona ukuthi wayena ukhalisa-ke impempe lapho-ke ngemuva kokuthi akhalisa impempe bese indodana yakhe yagijimisa-ke labantu abade bengene ngaphakathi kuleli khaya leliyana ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka lobugebengu noma ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka lolu dlame lolu-ke lapho kuleli khaya leli kade kwenzeka khona-ke isigameko leso-ke.
Thank you, Brigadier. I would have imagined when the gentleman and the lady there, Warrant Officer Makubo and Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi left the office, they had their head bowed down and probably throwing tantrums and saying, I see a hamba tina yiko lento le. On that note, my lord, I'm going to request that we take an adjournment for the day.